3 out of 5 format for tournaments. Okay, so James Chen has the angle of tournament viewpoint, tournament perspective about 3 out of 5. Anyone who argues for 3 out of 5 for games had better never ever complain when an important match doesn't make it on stream. 3 out of 5 will always mean less total matches on stream, as each match will run longer. There will definitely be less variety. It's a trade-off. Yeah, this is correct. So, cons, less matches streamed. That is correct. So I think that's pretty obvious, right? TOs will hate you. Okay, sure. TOs will hate you. This is contributed from no good. As a result, clearly 3 out of 5 is better for players, 2 out of 3 is better for viewers. Yeah, 3 out of 5 is well, I don't know. That's particularly 100% true. As a whole, they're both good to me. As a viewer, I think they're both good. But as like the whole grand scheme of things, 3 out of 5 resulting in less matches, less variety of matches is probably not as good for the viewer. But I guess that depends on the quality of matches too. Because you might get 2 out of 3 matches that are just pool play, you know? Sort of like filler. Potentially jeopardize being able to rap before venue kicks you out. Yeah. You know, everything has a budget and a time limit, but it feels like fighting games are oftentimes like really trying to compact things and, you know, make something work out of it. I prefer shorter, intense 2 out of 3 sets over longer sets like 1st to 5 or 1st to 10. The 1st to 5 and the 1st to 10 requires, well, not requires, but it's best if it has a storyline attached to it, I think. And those can be pretty sick. Maybe that's one of the flaws, sort of the sets on the Capcom channel. I think they're great, and it's awesome that they do that, and I hope they continue to. It's really good. But sometimes I don't want to watch. I'm just like, but if it's somebody that I want to see play, like Zaffarino, if Zaffarino is in the set, I want to watch it because of Zaffarino, not because of Sagat or who he's playing against. I just want to see. I want to see the story, and that's kind of the, I guess, the underlying thing is the storytelling. While the tournament is happening, you do definitely get less storytelling for all the players with 3 out of 5 because you can't see everybody. 3 out of 5 and top 6 at Evo FGC is consolidating. It just seems like it's like unsolvable. It has to be that way. You know what I mean? Like it has to be that way for time. And then if you made it like over a span of 2 days, is that better or worse? I think it just has to be that way. If I lose the first 2 matches, it should be 3 out of 5. This is the other part, is getting into motives of why people want it to be 3 out of 5. Because these are the fun ones. The motives. I don't want to get randomed out by scrubs, beta users, hitbox cheaters, modern abusers. I don't want to lose to them. Make it 3 out of 5 so I can learn it. Fair enough. Kind of fair, right? Who doesn't want that as a competitor? And then here's the other one. I want to random out Punk and Smug with 2 out of 3. I want to beat him. That's the other angle. That's the one that's in the, you know, people don't want to say it. I want to random. Let me get that W. And they gotta hold it. Which is kind of fun, not for them, but it's kind of funny. Yeah. I guess this is kind of the other one though. The other also is like an underlying thing. The underlying issue is that there's a couple of them. Street Fighter 6, and this is just games in general, the balance of the game. Is the balance good enough? Does it need it? Does it need to be 3 out of 5? Grand finals in the parking lot. Man, the 4 a.m. CVS2 tournament, Steve H versus Justin Wong. That's no good. The pro would be player satisfaction. It's like there's more certainty. Like the legitimacy of the winner is definitely increased if there's 3 out of 5. Certainty. But it's still not guaranteed. Maybe, but I think this is probably the biggest reason why. Besides the, you know, this and the other underlying issues. But people want to know that they won, the better player won. That's the thing. The better player won. This is a really off to the side note. Side note from Jibbo. I like 3 out of 5 rounds. Especially for training. So, but it's almost taboo to do this. To have more than 2 rounds to have to win 2 rounds, it just doesn't feel good. And then there's some balance issues with it, because there's some characters who carry over to the next round, like Manon. Her command grab will carry over. Kimberly's level 3 super, stuff like that. And maybe there's some difference in balance between supers just in general and how you may or may not save it. But I think 3 out of 5 rounds is a good thing. I don't. It's weird that it's stigmatized. What else? Is it too early? Is it too early to tell? Just let it rock, you know? I'm just gathering data. I'm going to go through this again. More sense of closure. People just want excuses for L's before they take them. Yep. Yep. It sucks when those excuses are legit, though. Like if the station is laggy, that kind of thing. And you can't really, you just got to hold that for 3 matches. How fast do you adapt to people you're playing? That's a good point, because it is a different skill set. Adaptation, I'll put that down here. Who is better at adapting over time? Because that's just not in the single match. It's about your mental stamina throughout the day. If you're playing 2 out of 3 matches, compared to 3 out of 5 matches, you're playing less per day. So that could do something to your mental fatigue if you play too much. Tournaments are hard, man. Like, what is there, like some study about chess players that burn a lot of calories playing chess because they just think a lot? Do chess players really burn 6,000 calories? According to ESPN? What the heck? Robert Sapolsky, who studies stress in primates at Stanford University, says a chess player can burn up to 6,000 calories a day while playing in a tournament 3 times what an average person consumes. Like, just mental energy. I don't know if that's... I gotta look at the study and make a thought from there. But the same thing applies to fighting games. Whenever I play online sets, this thing measures my heart for like when I work out, like I know how much I sleep and all that stuff. It always tells me after I play Third Strike especially, like, dude, you had a really stressful day, you should hit the sack early. Same thing. And I think playing more would just increase that. Sprint versus marathon. Yeah, sprints are exciting too. Sometimes marathons aren't, which is closer to the 3 out of 5. What about character buffs that last whole matches? Yeah. That's what I think I got to that. I'm a little bit behind on chat. It would increase the number of rounds, be better than increasing the number of sets. Probably not because of Manon and Kimberly and maybe some other characters. If your playstyle is high risk, you might just lose out to some scrub. Yeah, sorta. I'm down for more rounds, yeah. It's going back to GameStop tournament, Street Fighter 4 rules, dang. Blanca would get nerfed. Oh, yeah, because he's got like a limited amount of Blanca balls, right? You can't really recharge them unless you taunt for an hour. 1,000,000% too early, kind of objectively, in my opinion. As far as like the game's balance, if that's what you're talking about, I do agree with that. It's a bit too early. I think for now, just let it rock. If I were just to skip this whole thing, just let it play out 2 out of 3 the same way we've been doing it for a long time. And then like if the tournaments are like really quick, which they might be, especially online tournaments for this game, they might go by really fast. Then maybe we can think about 3 out of 5 matches or 3 out of 5 rounds. Really depends on the format, how many people enter, and how it really plays out, and what issues could happen with online play. Because so far it's been great, and it seems pretty easy. But we haven't really tested the Battle Lounge mode, many connections to see if they like actually work together with each other. Because maybe at the end of the day, that'll be the one thing that Street Fighter 6 hasn't figured out yet. I'm sure they'll actually fix it. But let's say like you can't connect to everybody, and that's gonna cause a big problem. I mean, me personally, I'm down for everything. I'll try all of them as long as the tournament runs smooth. It's like there's so many more moving parts to it than just the player's experience. The player's experience is very high priority, but it's not the only priority. And sometimes it's kind of fun to see somebody get gimmicked out. I mean, there's so many different things to tournaments because you don't always know who you're going to play next. And usually top 8s happen the next day. So you can prepare. You can prepare for the matchup. You can look at the players' videos overnight. So that's a whole different aspect to it. And then it being first to 3s, more so. It's almost like you got to climb your way out of the mud of first to 2, especially if you're in loser's bracket. And then maybe you can get to more consistent results. It's too early to tell. So that's the... Oh, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Because I kind of disagree. I don't think it's too early to tell. On one hand, I think just let it... I'm okay with everything, and I think the 2 out of 3 until top 8, then 3 out of 5 is still a good method. I think that's fine. Just keep it that way. But this game is going to be... It's going to be figured out at lightning speed. No other fighting game is going to get figured out as quickly as Street Fighter 6. I'm like 100% sure, because it's already there. Like I was the person back in the day, like, hold on guys, wait a minute, this game just got released. We don't know yet. I was the person saying that. I'm now the person saying this is not gonna be that. I see on Twitter, like, we're just scratching the surface. Imagine a month down the line, I think we're pretty much, before the game even comes out, we're solving a lot of the game. I think it's getting ridiculous. Which is why in the beta, I was like, they need to turn the damage down. Because it's already past the point where, you know, release it with some damage before people know what they're doing and they can do the big combos. Make it so that they, you know, there's no timeouts kind of thing. And then reduce the damage. But I think they already need to reduce the damage. Even now, maybe they got to make a few more tweaks to how much damage is in this game. Maybe. Because it's going to get learned so fast. Like, if I just think about Street Fighter V, and if people knew how to play Street Fighter V the way they knew how to play it just about a year or so later, then the Season 1 of Street Fighter V would have been even worse than it was. Because, yeah, 8 frames of lag and optimized combos and no damage mitigation. So I'm pro less damage. Not no damage. It's cool if 3 or 4 combos kill somebody. But what matters really is how they get that. And this whole discussion about 3 out of 5, 2 out of 3 is tied into that feeling of being robbed or like rewarded for your skill and time put into it. But that's another thing about Marvel 3 and games that typically have that problem. Where you get clipped by something you can't really react to and then you die. So you show up to a tournament, Virgil kills you, and you feel bad about it. If it happens more times, then maybe, you know, you feel like you had more of a chance to guess correctly. So that sense of reward is more there. Like, you can actually play. You can actually, you know, do what you train for. What up, Mike Ross? Hologram. There's probably changes we haven't adjusted for yet. So far, from the beta to the demo, the changes have been pretty minimal. But it seems for sure that the damage has been scaled back a little bit. You play 3S on a Pro, less damage? I play Hugo. Yeah, like, to get big damage with Hugo, I have to work really hard. And I have to do some crazy threading the needles after. I gotta thread 3 needles at once. While the needles are being thrown in the air, I gotta thread the needle while they're falling down. And it's sick, and I like it. Hugo sucks. I'm happy to see if you're right or not about the game getting figured out. I think nearly for sure this game will get figured out faster than any other fighting game. Because a lot of people are playing it, and a lot of people are now, like, everyone's a lab monster now. It's not just me, Javits, a few other people. And the game has the tools in the game to show you. You don't have to, like, go through some background website. It shows you the frame data timeline. And I'm already, like, I already know, like, the options. I already know what's possible. Most of them. And this, if you do this for every character, it takes about maybe 10 minutes to fill out a chart like this. Maybe like 10, maybe 15. But this tells you everything. And then as you're looking at knockdowns, just plug them in. And now you know exactly what your character can do with a given knockdown. What at least they can do as a frame kill and what else is possible with it. So you combine this with all of the neutral knowledge and all that stuff, this game is going to get figured out super fast. Evil switching to 3 out of 5 during the tournament. Did they really do that? I forgot about that. Does DR combo decrease damage scaling at all? I don't think so. It's just regular scaling, I think. Maybe it would do that. That could be something that they adjust with this game. I do think it's really early to know what they would do as far as balance. My prediction is that this game is not going to be that much different from the demo and the beta. I think the way Demo Ryu is very close, if not exactly the same, how he's going to be when the game is out. I'm like 80% sure of that. It's probably going to be exactly the same. They're not going to make changes to Drive Rush Startup, Drive Impact Startup. They'll probably wait until the masses get it and then decide on balance changes from there. That's my prediction. I can't know, but that's what I think. So I think that's about it, really. This is really the main thing, and it's driving a lot of other stuff. But this is an important aspect of the tournament experience. Is feeling like you had the chance to apply yourself. And I think everything, maybe, all of this can get solved and it can just maintain being 2 out of 3 when people get better at the game. And that maybe is the most maybe bothersome part of this, is the certainty for everybody. Like, it should be this way. I think 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5, I'd like it either way. Whatever, I'll play, I like it. But even though I think this game's gonna get figured out quickly, it doesn't mean that everyone's gonna play it really well. Even when I'm playing against a level 8 CPU, I'm seeing a lot of mistakes that I'm making. Even though I know what could be better to be done, I'm still not there doing it yet. So it could be the same case defensively and offensively in the way you play it through neutral, that the game, your ability to play it and express yourself and have that feeling of satisfaction could just be you got to get better at it. And 2 out of 3 you lost because you didn't have that. Maybe you get robbed. Maybe that's just how it is. In 2 out of 3, sometimes you get robbed. But it has to be like a trend of a lot of feelings like that, and then maybe think about 3 out of 5.